So I had to realize I was delusional. I thought if you were a good person and you do right by people, that people will take your kindness and give you kindness back. But what I realized is sometimes in this world, the kinder you are, the more they try to play you like a fool. I was delusional. I'm nice to you, you nice to me. Don't always work like that. Sometimes it's nice to me and I take advantage of you. So some of y'all, you delusional. I just need you to do me a favor. When you are delusional, you can never get the outcomes you want because the premise in which you're operating from is a lie. So you got to work from truth. And some of us don't want to deal with truth because it's so difficult. E.T., you dropped out of school. E.T., you grew up in a certain community. In order for you to be able to do what you need to do like a Tony Robbins, there's some things that you don't have in your arsenal that if you can just admit you don't have it in your arsenal, then you can go get it. But until you admit that you don't have it, you'll never be able to do it. So I need you to do me a huge favor. I just need you to be real. And the reason why a lot of y'all don't want to be real, because some of you would rather be in a lie and at least have a lie than not have anything at all. You already know the reality about that relationship. You already know that job, your boss ain't about to cash you out. You're just scared to quit and start your own business because you don't know if you're going to do well or not. You know you shouldn't.
What is this really about? Ultimately, if you're going to have lasting change in anything, you're really talking about just raising your standards. I mean, I always tell people, if you want to know how to change your life, I give it to you in 3 words, boring as it sounds: raise your standards. And what does that mean? Corny as it sounds. Raise your standards. Oh, thank you for the breakthrough thought, Tony. I'm glad I wasted my time watching this little email with you. But think about it. Lasting change is different than a goal. You don't always get your goals, but you always get your standards. Maybe it would help you is to think about it this way. I try to explain standards to people with a different set of words. Think of it as everybody in life gets their musts. They don't get their shoulds. Like, think about it. Most people have a list of shoulds, don't they? Don't you have a list of the shoulds, things you should do, you should follow through on? I should lose some weight, I should work out more, I should make more calls, I should respond more rapidly to my email, whatever, you know? I should get into the office earlier, I should be, more confident. Whatever your should list is, people love to have their should list be met, but it's kind of like New Year's resolutions. If it does, it's really exciting, but if it doesn't, which is most of the time, it's a little disappointing, but you kind of know it's not going to happen. But when you decide something is a must for you, an absolute must, when you cut off any possible, you say, I'm going to find the way, or I'm going to make the way. Human beings, when they resolve things, when they make a real resolution inside themselves, which is they raise the standard and they make it a must, they find the way. Think about it in your own life. Haven't you had some area of your life where you raise your standard and your life has never been the same? Maybe at one time in your life you smoked cigarettes, or you did something and you did it for years and you kept trying to change it and kept telling yourself I should. And then one day something happened. Something just clicked you over. Something took you over that kind of tipping point. And inside yourself you said no more. And it was a very, very different experience, wasn't it? Something inside of you shifted, and what was a should became a must, and you've never gone back. Is there an area like that in your life you can think of? Again, did you ever smoke cigarettes? Did you ever eat a certain way, drink a certain form of alcohol, and then finally say no more, and you just don't go back? And notice this, it doesn't really take any willpower anymore. Because somewhere when we make this click, when we make something a must, we attach ourselves to it. It becomes part of our identity. And one thing I've learned in the last, 33 years of working with people from now over 100 countries, 4 million people, is human beings absolutely follow through on who they believe they are. If you said to me, well, I'm really going to work hard to stop smoking, but I've been a smoker my whole life and I am a smoker. I know your days are numbered. You're going to be back smoking cigarettes again, because we all act consistent with who we believe we are. I tell people the strongest force in the whole human personality is this need to stay consistent with how we define ourselves. If you define yourself as somebody who is really conservative, you're not going to be crazy and act nuts unless you're really drunk or something, and then you can say it's the alcohol, when it's really just you finally getting permission to be yourself. The alcohol is your excuse. If you're a really crazy person, you act crazy, outrageous, playful. You don't act conservative because that's not who you are. Very often people say, well, I can't do that. I'm not that kind of person. And I always say to people, really, when did you define yourself? I mean, really, how many years ago did you come up with what you could and couldn't do in your life? How many years ago? Most people, if they really look at how they're living their life today, it's based on a set of standards, a set of beliefs that they made choices about 10, 20, 30 or more years ago.
What are you mad about? Write it down and like be kind of comprehensive about it. Or maybe talk to a friend. I would say write it down, but you can talk to a friend. Write down everything that makes you angry. And you're going to think, well, some of those things that make me angry are stupid. It's like, yeah, probably. That's not the question here. We're not trying to figure out if you're reasonable or not. Of course you're not, because who is? So you're not. So write down everything that makes you angry. Okay, so what'll happen then is you have a comprehensive list of what makes you angry, and the first thing that you'll figure out is that some of those things just shouldn't make you angry. It's like time to grow the hell up, and get over that. But then there's other things on there, and maybe you can talk to someone about that. You think, well, this makes me angry. Should it? You talk to someone, they say, no, you should. That's you. You should just grow up. But, so maybe that's 10% of the things that make you angry is just because you're undisciplined. But then there'll be some other things that make you angry because you're being taken advantage of, or you're allowing yourself to be taken advantage of, or you're taking advantage of yourself, or you're not objecting when someone else is asking you to do something you don't really want. Like there's something going on. And so with those things, you figure, well, what would you rather have? Like if you could have what you wanted that wasn't making you angry, what would it be? And so now you know what you want. Well, then you think, well, let's take one of those things that I want and see if I can ask for it. Maybe it's like the person who asked this question, the woman who asked this previous question. Maybe she has to go to her husband and say, look, I need you to spend 15 minutes after dinner with the kids so I can, be alone. Would you do it for 15 minutes? Or 10 minutes, or would you do it for 10 minutes like 3 times a week? You have to negotiate. What's the other person willing to do? You need to know what you want and need, and then you need to communicate it to them, and then you need to negotiate a solution. And that's how you get more assertive. And you start small. You get more assertive by telling the truth, right? That's how. It's like, I'm irritated and annoyed that this isn't happening, and here's something that you could conceivably offer me, and this is what I'm willing to do in return, and could we see if that works? And what's the benefit to them is, well, you're not miserable and passive aggressive then, it's not like your partner isn't going to gain from your increment in assertiveness. It's not a zero-sum game. You could both gain, like truly, because wouldn't it be a lovely marriage if your wife could ask you what she wanted and you could deliver, and you could ask her what you wanted and she'd deliver, and both of you were happy about that. Like that could happen. Not always and in every situation, but you can get a long way down that road if you're careful, So tell the truth about what you're angry about, but also tell the truth to yourself about what you want.